Lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit CarsPlusGuam.com for details. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Coming up on Primetime, senators take to the floor to vote on a series of bills. Nestor Lecanto has that story. Plus, starting next month, FEMA will assist financially for COVID-19 related funeral expenses. And KUAM's Peter Santos talks with GMH's administrator on a newly established task force and the need for a new island hospital. HÅFA Day, everybody. A special warm HÅFA Day and good evening to those of you watching us on Facebook anywhere in the world. And HÅFA Day to those of you watching us on KUAM TV. I'm Jason Salas, and here are tonight's top stories. Well, your elected senators passed a total of 11 bills today, one resolution during session. They include a pair introduced at the request of the governor, with one refunding certain bonds backed by business privilege taxes, saving millions in debt service over the next 3 years. The other appropriates $3 million to fund a new enhanced emergency 911 fund. Nestor Lecanto has a look at some of the other key measures that were approved.
One was Senator Clint Rigel's bill to criminalize agricultural theft. He said it was drafted at the urging of local farmers who also wanted to add more teeth to the law.
They felt that the current theft of property law wasn't explicit enough in including agricultural products. In addition to that, they also wanted to allow for ways to have people caught stealing also be required to pay back the farmers for that theft.
Also passed was a measure by Senator Tello Taitagui to change the official name of the village of Inarahan to the Chamorro pronunciation, Inalahan.
It is the impact Bill 60 will have on our children and our adults, from Inalahan to Jigo, who with open mind and hearts are learning more and reconnecting with their Chamorro identity. Biba Inalahan.
And there was Senator Therese Terlahi's resolution to allow the legislature to intervene in a Supreme Court case brought by the governor to clarify her authority to enforce quarantine under local statute.
The governor raised a new argument that the legislature exceeded its powers by passing sections 19604 and 19605 of the Emergency Health Powers Act because, according to the brief, they are, quote, in direct and irreconcilable conflict with, unquote, the Organic Act under 48 USC 1421 GA, which grants the governor quarantine authority.
The Supreme Court invited the legislature's arguments in the case as it is a question over the separation of powers. Of course, all of the bills passed now go to the governor for her consideration. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Nestor also adds that additionally, senators failed to override the governor's veto of a bill by Senator Tello Taitagui imposing a $250 fine for members of the Land Review Committee that failed to provide required reports on land use applications by the established deadline. The Federal Emergency Management Agency will provide financial assistance for COVID-19 related funeral expenses starting next month. The new initiative will cover deaths in the U.S. and its territories that occurred after January 20th of last year. Here's more in our next report.
FEMA announced that the new policy, finalized on Thursday, is meant to help ease some of the financial stress and burden caused by the pandemic. The assistance is for funeral services and interment or cremation and is limited to a maximum of $9,000 per funeral and a maximum of $35,500 per application in the case of multiple deaths in a family. Applicants will need to provide an official death certificate that indicates the death occurred in the U.S. and that it may have been caused by or was the likely result of COVID-19 or COVID-19-like symptoms. Expense documents and receipts with the names of the applicant and the deceased and the dates they were incurred will also be needed. FEMA says it will establish a 1-800 number to answer questions about the program. Meanwhile, Congressman Michael San Nicolas issued a news release calling it a fitting and compassionate response for the federal government. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero launched a local bereavement assistance program in October with a slightly higher one-time grant of $10,000. ADAI says to date it has approved and paid out 124 claims with one claim pending. Families who received aid through the local program are not eligible for the FEMA program. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Nestor getting the top two stories in this evening's newscast. ADAI's Communications Office says the governor does plan to continue the local bereavement assistance initiative. Moving on now, if the COVID-19 pandemic has opened our eyes to anything, it's how desperately our island needs a new hospital. And now that the task force to handle it has been assembled, things are finally getting going. Here's more.
As the island eagerly awaits the some $600 million plus in federal funding by way of President Biden's American Rescue Plan, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero has already planned to secure $300 million for the construction of a new public hospital. As we recently reported, a new task force has been created to ensure that the island's need for a new hospital facility is met sooner rather than later.
It was a very good meeting, very informative. It was just a team that was put together to just begin the dialogue as far as what we presented from our hospital's perspective, as far as, the different studies that were done and different assessment of the hospital, to then, validate and confirm that the hospital needs to be replaced, rather than continuing to make the repairs in its infrastructure. Really the best thing is just to build a new facility, a new state-of-the-art facility that meets the international building codes, the current codes.
Posada says a grant of $1.6 million has been approved by the Office of Economic Adjustment to have a performance-based contract consultant group tackle the first phase of this huge project.
They will be the group that will start with the task of doing a financial impact assessment study, an environmental assessment also. So this is the group that's going to really go through the first phase of doing the assessment, the feasibility study, to then even to look at the data that have been collected in those previous efforts and studies.
While the site has yet to be determined, Posada says they've got their hearts set on Eagles Field in Manguilao due to its central location. And if things go according to plan, the Eagles Field end zone might turn into a construction zone sooner than we thought.
The governor would like to get the groundbreaking by October 2022. And I know people are probably going to say, well, that's too soon. But, maybe we need to have that target date so we can push ourselves to get to that point.
And if the idea of a new hospital didn't seem like a big enough project,
really what we're looking at is a medical center complex or campus that will have Guam Memorial Hospital, Department of Public Health, and perhaps even Guam Behavioral Health in one campus.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
In other news tonight, vaccination rates are lowest in our island community with our FSM and FAS population. But this Sunday from 2 to 5 in the afternoon up at the Didido Senior Center, Public Health, the Guam Regional Medical City and Micronesian Resource Center will be holding a vaccination clinic in an effort to increase the vaccination rates. The COVID vaccines are our best chance to curb the pandemic, and it is the preventative measure that we can take to keep our community safe. Joel Setic is with the MRC.
We pick on Sunday because it's a Palm Sunday, and it's also when there's a lot of people from the FAS that will be going to church at this certain time. So we pick this spot to make it convenient for them as they go to church, and then at the same time they finish and they can come and get their vaccination. We really want to help our brothers and sisters and get themselves protected, get their families protected, and within the community.
If you have any questions whatsoever, for more information, please contact the FSM Consulate Office. Their number is 646-9154. That's 646-9154. Or call the Micronesian Resource Center directly at 868-2227. That number, 868-2227. We do have an update on Catholic schools for you now, as high schools may turn away from alternate class schedules now that classrooms are able to accommodate all students. This comes after Public Health has ruled a 3-foot social distancing protocol instead of the 6 we've become accustomed to. Superintendent of Catholic Schools Dr. Juan Flores adds as schools start receiving and installing sneeze guards, they are looking at lifting some other restrictions.
We can sort of open things up, maybe while the kids are eating. Obviously, they don't use their mask, but there may be activities in classes now when the kids don't have to use their masks because of the sneeze guards.
Through ESFI are now on island, and he says now they're just working with GDOE on distribution. As for ESF2, they've put in a request towards electronic textbooks, which could be the future of learning in parochial schools. Dr. Flores says going virtual lessens the likelihood of spreading viruses from school to home and vice versa.
Starting on Monday, I'll start working on the requisitions for the ESF2 and try to get almost all of those done by the end of April. And then it goes to the procurement office in DOE. So we're praying that their efforts will get some of those things through as quickly as possible.
As far as plans for these summer months, Dr. Flores says they're currently working on a contract for social and emotional learning training for teachers and staff members alike. Staying with education, the Guam Community College's Board of Trustees held a meeting today in which they discussed the adjudication of fees for the Bachelor of Science in Career and Technical Education. That meeting allowed the board to approve the proposal of a $67 lab fee associated with their career and tech education methods 1, 2, and 3, along with a $35 fee for the Bachelor of Science in Technical Education course. Last fall, the college established their first bachelor's degree program. Here's Dr. Mary Okada, GCC's president, with more on this issue.
Fees went through the adjudication process in February for 2 days. We held open hearings here on campus and virtually. And some people, we talked a little bit about the program and why the fees were necessary. And so through that process, the college took that information and has now presented it to the Board of Trustees for their approval so that it can be charged as part of our registration process.
Now, due to the pandemic, the college found an opportunity to bring the International Hotel Management as a program to an online distance education initiative.
So by allowing us to do this, this will be our very first request to our accreditors, ACCJC, to offer an online program. Of course, there's a few things that we have to get in place in order for us to operate fully online. And as an example, anytime you offer a distance education program, you must have available support services that are student support services like access to library, access to anybody from IT to help support in the event that you have some issues, access to advisement and counseling. So in order for us to do that, the college is now in the process of updating its distance education strategic plan.
That plan identifies what certifications are required for faculty to teach online, along with identifying how students may access student services while in the online environment. Dr. Okada says that in the long run, the approval would open the door to allow GCC to offer other courses through their distance education program. Well, please stay tuned. Primetime will continue. Keep streaming and keep watching, because KUAM's back right after this.
The Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce presents Fanatsu Famalawan, Women Rising, on Thursday, April 8th. This virtual conference will reach you wherever you are, featuring international experts and thought leaders sharing their stories. Experience on-demand sessions, masterclasses, and conversations to inspire and empower. Register today. Fanatsu Famalawan, Inspiring Innovation, April 8 at GuamWomen'sChamber.com. Special thanks to our change agents and our other community partners.
While we've all been through a lot over the years,
typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19,
we've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years.
Travel's Insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
and the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead. Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
Swim on in for Ruby Tuesday Seafood Sensations and enjoy your favorites from the sea in perfect time for Lent. Get hooked on lobster mac and cheese, the salmon loco moco, or the deep sea pasta. There's a bounty waiting for you on the RT Seafood Sensations menu at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Primetime continues right here on KUAM, and once again, HÅFA Day to those of you joining us all over the world on Facebook Live. We have an update for you now on the Department of Corrections Master Plan project, as the vendor, Information to Energy, was just on island last week and was quite busy, according to DOC spokesperson Major Anton Uggan. He says they met with the Guam Behavioral and Wellness Center staff and conducted building assessments of all the housing units for plumbing, electrical, and structural engineering purposes. Major Uggan says they are currently doing the assessment write-ups and do plan to return on island at the end of next month.
To work on another phase of the project. It's moving forward. Again, probably by the end of April, we'll start seeing some actual write-ups and some things put together as a result of all the different meetings we've had with them.
The target date remains for August to finish the master plan to present the project to Governor Leon Guerrero. Elsewhere in our rundown tonight, currently the Guam EPA's operations are split between two different buildings over in Tidzin. However, $3 million in capital improvement grant funding from the Department of the Interior will finally allow the local agency to establish its very own multi-purpose center. Nick Lee is a spokesperson for the Guam EPA.
We've been trying to get a building for an agency headquarters, some place that we can call home, and the administrator's intent with this is to take a piece of property that needs some remediation and then place a building on that property which falls in line with some sort of LEED certification.
He further says the goal is to achieve LEED Platinum status, the highest certification in the LEED Green Building Rating Initiative. He says it's a costly project, but thankfully they've got support from the administration as well as the grantors with the US EPA Region 9 organization.
Very excited for the project. There's a lot of help that we received to get moving with this.
He adds the Guam EPA will more than likely be working with the Guam Economic Development Authority to see what opportunities will be there to fast-track the process. Lee says it's a collaborative effort that will happen in the future, but for the time being, he says the focus is on the property. EPA is looking at the old transfer station up in Dedido. Let's go ahead and shift focus about 100 miles north to our friends up in Saipan now, as a Senate legislative initiative up there seeking to amend Article 12 of the CNMI Constitution regarding Northern Marianas private land ownership has spurred quite the debate. KUAM's Tomas Manglotnya reports.
Senate President Jude Hofschneider introduced the Senate legislative initiative that would amend Article 12. His goal is to allow those of Northern Marianas descent, also known as NMD, to fully exercise their real property rights and to reduce the NMD percentage of ownership interests in an NMD corporation.
If a private landowner sees the opportunity and be able to maximize the highest potential for that piece of property, then why are we still second guessing their ability to make that decision, right? And if you don't like it, by all means, don't sell it, walk away, lease it. But I wanted to hear the community, for the community to see how they feel about this. I know that there are absolute no, but I also want to hear if there's any suggestions to try and improve the policy in discussion, and we'll take it under consideration.
Article 12 of the CNMI's Constitution limits land ownership to those of Northern Marianas descent. According to Section 4 of Article 12, NMD is a citizen or national of the United States who has at least some degree of Northern Marianas Chamorro or Northern Marianas Carolinian blood or a combination thereof. A corporation can also own land if 100% of its shareholders and directors are of Northern Marianas descent. Leases of private lands to non-NMDs are limited to 55 years. Article 12 has evolved through the years. In 2014, an amendment changed the blood quantum threshold from a quarter to just some degree. Senator Hofschneider said he does not want to rush the initiative's process. 3/4 of the House and the Senate in the legislature would need to vote in favor of it before it lands on the ballot for voters to decide. Hofschneider said the question he's gotten the most about the proposal is why now?
And let me just be clear, it has nothing to do with any outside influence or anything, it's just me. If you notice that it was only me that the sponsor of this legislation. And I also feel like with this experience that we're having here in the CNMI, we've always relied on other than our residents here, but we've always relied economically to be self-sustaining in the tourism and everything else. And we all know what happened, right? So maybe it's time for us to reflect on some of the stuff some of the issues that I feel that it's important to revisit. whether or not this thing is going to go anywhere.
Not everyone sees it as clear-cut, though. Dr. Isa Arreola studies the process of militarization in the Marianas. She does not support the initiative in its current form.
I think the kind of spirit behind it, if it's really trying to promote a sense of equality, in the community, is well-meaning, and that's an incredibly important aspect of, land and land transmission in our community. But I think that it misses the mark in terms of the long-term effects of what this is actually going to mean for our community. I actually think it will end up alienating us from our own land in the long term.
Dr. Arreola cited the Constitution's intent to promote self-sufficiency and prevent exploitation. She's hoping to find common ground while balancing the economy with equality.
There will always be short-term economic gains, right? But once that land is gone and the money is spent from that land, we have nothing, right? We're left with nothing. And that's not a scare tactic. That is literally a reality, right? That land is not just property that is bartered and sold, right? It's much more than that. It's integral to our identity, and it's integral to most Indigenous communities' identity.
It's a first step that she said could have decades-long ramifications.
We are the ones that know best what we want for our future, right? Our community has to decide that. This is my opinion, but our community has to decide what we want. I mean, really realistically, what do we want 50, 100, 200 years from now? What do we want to see? And to open up the kind of Pandora's box of letting the land be owned by so many other non-NMDs, to me just is ignoring the historical reality. It's just a total, ignoring of that history and ignoring why, again, I keep going back to this, but it's like why that had to be put there to begin with, right? There was a reason why you have to protect the land from the get-go, why that would be included in the political, agreement with the United States.
Whether the initiative passes, Senator Hofschneider proposes an agency to guide private land transactions.
Maybe we should have been a little more attentive to even if it's private land, and at this time, even if it's private land lease for that matter, maybe that we should have an agency to say, Jude, let me see your lease proposal or something. Make sure that everything checks out, no? Like make sure that you don't go homeless.
Representative Sheila Babauta is keeping a close eye on the initiative.
Because it is language that has existed for over 40 years, and as with any document, review and updating is needed, especially given our current situation. There are a number of items and issues that this really opens the conversation up to.
One of those issues Babauta once addressed are long-term residents who have lived on island for their entire lives and are not considered NMD. It's a political matter that is also personal.
I'm half Quinnipian, so my mother is unable to own land here in the CNMI, but she calls this place her home. She is in support of Article 12, but those are conversations that we must have.
She's hoping to get as many of her constituents to voice their view on the issue.
There are issues of the top 5% of the wealthy families controlling most of the land on certain islands, in certain parts of very economically stimulating parts of the land. And so, I think this is a good opportunity for us to talk about it.
The first public hearing is set for this week on Rhoda. Tomas Manglotnya for KUAM News.
All right, thanks so much, Tomas. Back here at home, the Western Resort is up and running and ready to return their taste to the community as Taste Restaurant has officially and gloriously reopened. Last night, the eatery welcomed guests in for the first time since the start of the pandemic, and customers were greeted by their new executive chef, Carl Lee. Chef has more than 2 decades of experience in the culinary field, specializing in Japanese, Korean, and Italian cuisine. He's revived their international buffet, seafood station, and steak and lobster nights. Here's General Manager of the Westin, Nick Song.
We got a new executive chef, and we did some of the renovation inside the Taste Restaurant. We got the new flooring and new signature wall and new food from the executive chef. So I'm really happy to have this great many guests in the hotel. We have close to 200 people today. Not just me, every my team members are really excited at this moment. But we realized that due to the pandemic restrictions, we need to distribute the food. It's a lot more work than we expected. So I feel like we need to adjust the way we're doing our operations.
Well, in addition to all the mouth-watering dishes you can find at Taste, there is dinner entertainment from none other than Jesse and Ruby. Restaurant hours are Thursday from 6 to 9 in the evening, Friday and Saturday from 11:30 in the afternoon till 2:30, and then again from 6 to 9:30, and Sunday brunch is from 11 in the morning until 2:30 in the afternoon. For reservations, please call 647-1020 for the Westin Taste Restaurant. Once again, 647-1020. Congratulations to our friends at the Westin. Elsewhere tonight, this year will be the second Lenten season during the pandemic, as you know, and in efforts to provide a little bit of hope and reflection, the Academy of Our Lady of Guam will be hosting a virtual Lenten webinar. Here's AOLG's Joseph Tesoro and Principal Iris Gaza.
We wanted the topic, we prayed about it, and the topic is aligning our sufferings with the sufferings of Jesus Christ, because we all go through different things, go through different suffering, so to speak. Yeah. But more importantly, it's a reminder that Jesus has been through what we're going through now. So he's always there to to guide us and to support us with all the sufferings that we go through.
So many people have been depressed during this time. Let's be honest, that's the truth, right? This pandemic has brought a lot of people down and has forced a lot of people who are having a difficult time in trying to find the beauty in what the suffering has brought forward. And that's kind of also what we're trying to do is, how do we see the light at the end of the tunnel? How do we find hope in our suffering also?
The webinar takes place on Saturday at 10 in the morning with speakers including Father Richard Kidd, of course the pastor of the Maina Parish, Dr. Nina Herman, and Archbishop Michael Burns. If you're interested in participating, you can register. You have to register for the webinar. It's on Zoom. You can visit tinyurl.com/AOLG Lenten Reflection 2021. You can also go to KUAM.com and click on the link. We made it easier for you to register there. But please stay tuned. Dave Delgado has a recap of Island Sports.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
Whether you use your truck for work or play, you can count on Ram trucks. Built to deliver today and built to deliver for many years to come. Here at Cars Plus, it is Ram Truck Month, where you can get the best deal on a new Ram 1500 starting at a new low price of $31,995. You can call us at 477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to schedule your test drive today.
We get it. Living to the fullest is tough during COVID-19. You don't need to do it alone, and everyone needs a hand right now. We are here. Feeling overwhelmed? Call 647-8833 and let's talk. Mangagihem is a project of Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center.
Half a day.
Hi.
That will be $20, please.
I forgot my Mobile Smiles Driver's Rewards card.
No worries. You can now use your registered mobile number to earn points.
Can I use my mobile number to redeem rewards?
Sure. Just show us your photo ID or driver's license.
That's easy.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. On the show tonight, championship cross country from the AAI League. That along with some basketball news on the Guam Elite basketball program starting up tomorrow at the Guam Sports Complex Gym. Check it out. This year's IIAG All-Island Cross Country Meet took place around the Two Lovers Point area. Guam High, FD Academy, and St. John's all representing their school colors. Nice, sunny, breezy afternoon for some championship running. The girls started off first. Guam High swept the top 4 spots. Liliana Fennessy crossed the line first overall at 20:57. Fennessy finishes the season undefeated at 5-0. Molly Lang finished with the time of 21:09 in second place. Teammate Samaya Wilbanks was third at 22:29. Fourth place, also representing the Panthers, was Haley Burns with a time of 25:42. St. John's Mava Conroy and KCU finished 5th and 6th respectively.
Like 600 meters from the finish line, I felt like I needed to start picking up because my coach, my family members, and my team was encouraging me to pick it up because the people were right behind me, and I just knew I had to turn it on and start opening up my stride and running as fast as I could to the finish line. This course I really like because it was pretty much all on grass, and I really like running on the grass. And I've always loved running in Guam because of the view, the weather. It's just always been great.
The boys took to the 3.1-mile course next. The grassy jungle run was different compared to running at opposing schools' campus. St. John's freshman runner Alex Clark blazed through the course with a time of 18:46. He also finished the season undefeated. FD's EJ Manabusan was second at 18:54. Guam High's Joseph Schwartz was third at 19:30. St. John's Adam Cruz placed fourth with a time of 19:41. Guam High's Sean Miller and FD's Gavin Baker finished 5th and 6th.
This year's course, it kind of seemed very flat for most of it. There's a short section with a few hills, but other than that, it was kind of just smooth running. Definitely around the middle of the second lap, as we're coming over on that end. At that point, you knew that if they were going to stay with you, they'd stay with you to the end. So that was a really good part to kind of kick it up, and so that way I could come in first.
Guam Elite basketball will be making their way back onto the courts tomorrow at the Guam Sports Complex Gym. Over 100 kids have already registered for the club and are excited to get back into learning the fundamentals of the game.
We never really lost touch with any of them, and right now they are very, very excited. We are all looking forward to Saturday. I just can't wait to see how much they've grown. We came from seeing each other almost every day to none at all. We're just going to ease up with the fundamentals, just really basic stuff, ball handling, maybe some jump shots, some footwork, and some layups. Nothing too hard, nothing too intense.
Players from 8U through 16U will be split into different time slots to follow public health guidelines. The first day of training will run from 9 in the morning to about 2 in the afternoon. There are 12 coaches on the staff for the upcoming season.
2020 was rough on all of us, just having to be locked up, staying home. I know the kids are anxious to come back. You know, everybody that loves the game, come out, have fun, just be around each other and just, you know, have a better year moving forward. So from the coaching staff down to all the players, parents, we couldn't be happier. For more info, email GuamEliteBasketball.com. You can also check them out on Instagram at Guam Elite. Parents can contact Coach Dom Sablon at 929-7264. Registration is currently ongoing. Make sure to bring your mask and some water bottles. Special thanks to DPR and their hardworking staff at the Guam Sports Complex Gym. Well, we just got a grant from the FSM Congress. Special thanks to the Speaker Wesley Simina for allowing this to happen. We have a large population of FSM citizens on Guam, so coming from Chuk, myself, I just wanted to give this opportunity to the kids to come and join Team Elite and, you know, grow the game of basketball for everybody on the island.
That's it for sports. We're back right after this.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant. the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PEST.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Jamaican Grill remembers this past year and offers you the HÅFA Day Special, available March 29th through March 31st at all our Jammin' locations. It's a 2-mon pan full of our famous jerk chicken and ribs with plenty of red rice, all for only $19. That's enough Jamaican Grill to feed the whole entire family. The HÅFA Day Special is our way of saying, let's get up and move. We've come a long way, and we've got a long way to go, but we got this, Guam. Yaman, together we can.
Well, the sun is going down on this lovely island Friday night, but we can't get you Let's Start It on the island weekend until we say happy birthday. Here's tonight's song. Happy Friday, March 26th.